Hey, what up, YouTube? To pick up from where I left off with the last video, the recommendation one, I wanted to actually do the intro video to why I'm doing this. Recommendation one and recommendation two, maybe up to recommendation three. I wanted to at least get three out there, two at the most, yesterday. But I don't know, something happened. I got lazy, got tired, went and watched some Twitch, and ended up coming back to it today. We'll do recommendation number two, and we're gonna go in a more traditional route. I feel like when people are doing things like this, where they're making this, these giving out these anime recommendations, or if you're creating a general list, you're generally typically gonna start with the anime that's somewhat action packed. I want to say majority of anime you watch nowadays, it's either going to be action-packed, a thriller, some sort of fantasy world, slice of life, or sports-based. You also have a couple other things like, food wars. So you literally have cooking as well. Like, that's one of the amazing things about anime. You have something for everybody. There's something for everything. Literally, like, do not be surprised by what there actually is out there in the anime world. So, I want to get into what would be the more traditional recommendation. Because even I went back and I was like, I was kind of shocking myself that, I started off with Your Lie in April. And I'm like, my first recommendation ever is going to be Your Lie in April. But Your Lie in April is a great anime. Some people that would probably rate it, honestly, top 30 anime all time. A lot of people would actually rate it up there. So that just goes to show you how strong, how good of an anime it actually is. So we had Your Lie in April. That was the first recommendation. Second recommendation, like I said, we're gonna go more traditional with a action recommendation. Something that's action packed, this, that, and the other. There's a fight. There's this, that, and the other going on. Even then, I'ma still give you a little bit of a stretch, because this may be a controversial. Like, you're gonna recommend this as somebody's first action-packed anime. Yeah, because this opens and unlocks the door to other things. What I'm trying to do is help people find out more of the genres they like, the genres they like. And sometimes it's a trial and error thing. I can give you super generic action based, action anime. I really could. But by giving you the pick that I'm about to give you, it may help you a little bit more. It may make you figure out, maybe you don't just like regular action. Maybe you like some sci-fi stuff. Maybe you like some horror type stuff. Maybe you like gory stuff. That's what I'm trying to go with this. Because you have some people who like action, fantasy, but not gory. And they don't like some certain things. They may like things that are just straight fantasy worlds or sci-fi out in space somewhere. Or mechs. There's so many different avenues you can take. So, I'm going to go with this one. My second recommendation, we're going to go with Parasyte. Parasyte, I truly feel like that's a safe recommendation for an action anime. But like I said, it hits on a couple other different things as well. You get your action aspect, you get a lot of fight scenes, things like that, but you also get a bit of horror. It's gory. You see blood, you see limbs, this, that, and the other, cut off, chopped off. And it's somewhat sci-fi in a way. I won't say fantasy, but it's more sci-fi than it is fantasy. Seeing that the show does also integrate aliens, an alien life form, an alien race into the show. So to me, that counts as sci-fi. But yeah, what I want you to get out of watching a show like this is not that, oh, it's gory and whatnot, but if you end up liking that, like, okay, this is action, but it's kind of extreme, it's kind of scary, you don't know what's really going to happen next, um, it'll help you move on to other shows somewhat similar to it. Because what I would really say, and I might not do this I might do this every episode, or I might not. I might give you a recommendation, and then I might be like, if you watch this and you truly love it, you like it, here are a couple more shows you would like. Now, I purposely went with Parasyte just for this. If you're a person who watches Parasyte, I recommend it and you end up liking it, or you're a person who's seen Parasyte already but you were looking for something else to watch, you could probably segue from Parasyte onto Psycho-Pass. Psycho-Pass, I feel like, is a bit more extreme. It's a bit more in-depth. It's not, and I don't even want to say Parasyte is childish, but I feel like when you compare it to Psycho-Pass, Psycho-Pass is a little bit more serious. You get what I'm saying? So, if you watched Parasyte in its entirety and you're like, oh my god, I love this show, Psycho-Pass is probably perfect for you. Psycho-Pass, perfect. If you want to stick a little bit closer to a show that's kind of sort of like Parasyte, you can go with Black Bullet. That's another very somewhat similar pick when it comes to the type of show that it is. So, me giving, like, I'm kind of giving you these entry-level recommendations, but also, a couple recommendations to go along with the recommendation. Like, you watch it and you end up loving it. For Your Lie in April, I can't lie and say I've watched a million slice of life anime, and there's a couple other anime that you probably would have liked. So, for instance, if you watched the first recommendation video and you came away liking Your Lie in April, let's see, you would have liked a show like Hibike Euphonium. So that's another show, slice life, music based show. Like, literally. Like, that's how this goes. Now, honestly, when it comes to slice of life, you can watch any slice of life show as an entry level show, because it's slice of life. Like, I mean, I guess some shows can get slightly serious and be super emotional, but like I said, I'm not the huge super slice of life person. But Euphonium, I'd say definitely another strong pick. That if you watch and you like Your Lie in April, that's a show you watch. Parasyte, here's a little info on the show. Parasyte, it's based around a teenage male. This alien race overnight just randomly, I don't want to say attacks Earth, but they come to Earth, and they're literally like parasites. Like, they're literally, like little microorganisms and whatnot. And what they are doing, they're coming down to Earth, and they're catching people when they're asleep, and they want to take over a host. So, basically, to sum up, like, the first episode of the show, we have our main character. Essentially, he's chosen by one of the parasites, and the parasite comes to take control of him. But essentially what he ends up doing, I can't remember exactly. I don't want to ruin it for you, but essentially it's a botched, the parasite botches his takeover and ends up not getting full control of our main character. So, and the parasite itself, you can essentially say that the parasite is a main character as well. So we have our two main characters, our parasite and our human. So these two are together. The guys, our teenager, he's freaking out. He's like, what the F is going on with me? What is going on? And essentially, him and this Parasyte, they're now on a journey to essentially figure out what the hell is going on and what their next step is going to be and what they're going to do. And along the way, like I said, it wasn't just one Parasyte. It was a bunch of them, and I think it may have been a worldwide thing. But like I said, this show, this is like a general, like majority of anime. Their setting is Japan, so we're in Japan. So in other places in Japan, and even in his same little town or whatever, you have other people that were taken over by the parasites. The parasites go for the brain, but if they don't get the brain, then they have to essentially settle in where they are. So like that's what I was saying. Like it was a botched process. Like the parasite wasn't able to get to our main character's brain. He wasn't able to get to his brain and take over and get full control. That's what they're trying to do. But you end up with a lot of fights. Gory. Like they don't hold back on killing. And this isn't even close as extreme when it comes to gore. Like there's plenty of anime out there that are ridiculous. Like you have anime out there that are like Saw levels of gore, and just you're sitting there watching like, is this really happening right now? But Parasyte, definitely a solid anime. Like I would say you definitely are watching something that's safe. Like I said, it's not necessarily scary, but it can be slightly frightening in a sense. Gory, but not to the point where it's like, this is ridiculous, I'm squeamish, I can't handle this. At least it shouldn't be. And the story itself is actually pretty good. Like a lot of other anime, Parasyte was created from a manga. And this is something else you gotta realize. A lot of anime, let's say you get the anime adaptation of a manga in 2017. A lot of times, a lot of these manga were out 20, maybe 30 years ago. So we got 2017, 07, 97. Let's say it was an anime that came out in 1987. 1987. In 2017, you're getting a brand new anime series for it. But the thing is, so many people probably don't even know the manga for it came out 30 years ago. You know, a lot of people don't realize just how long anime has been around. Anime and manga have been around. Manga, of course, before anime. You have Dragon Ball in Japan. Dragon Ball has been around so long, it's not even funny anymore. Dragon Ball has been around for a while. It wasn't until Dragon Ball Super, that Americans and everybody worldwide are all actually watching a new series at the same time. Not until Super. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT were all done in Japan a long time ago. Like, by the time a lot of these shows finally hit America, they had been done. So, you have things like that. And then you gotta also factor in the manga. If the show had been done in Japan way before it finally hit America, you can only imagine how long ago the manga may have already been made. And then adapted, and then you get the anime, and then you finally get the dubbed version of the anime in America. Now, of course, Americans can read subtitled anime, but like I said, I'm going based on myself. Something like a Dragon Ball Z, I've actually never watched a subtitled version of it. I don't think I want to. I think I've seen a subtitled movie. But other than that, I feel like I wouldn't want to watch a subtitled Dragon Ball. Like, I actually am more comfortable with the dubbed version because that's what I'm used to. That's what I grew up with. So, Parasyte, that's just another one of those anime. The manga was out, what, late 80s, early 90s maybe, I believe. The anime didn't come out until 2000 and... Let's see. I'll give you a specific day. We didn't get a Parasyte anime until, and specifically, the manga came out in 1988. So that just goes to show you, that's when it first essentially ran, was in 1988. We didn't get an anime adaptation until 2014. So that just goes to show, it's a lot of this is just like how comic books are in American culture nowadays. These comics have been around for a long time. We're just now, as of the past years or so, we're seeing this influx of superhero movies. These influx of comic book movies. It's essentially the same relationship between manga and anime. So, yeah, Parasyte, I'm going to give you all the subtitled version, the dubbed version. That'll be down in the info section, so whichever one you want to watch. I believe at one point Parasyte definitely was on Toonami. It was airing on Toonami, so every weekend you could see Parasyte. I'm not sure if it still is. They probably have ran it 2-3 times by now, so it's probably done on Toonami, but Parasyte was there. The same way I spoke about how Netflix picks up shows, a lot of anime that Toonami picks up, Toonami will not play an anime unless there's some level of popularity to it. There's somewhere somebody saying, I want to see the dubbed version of this, or this was hot in Japan, or this was hot in the anime world. Okay, let's bring a dubbed version to Toonami. So Toonami, I don't want to say Toonami's hit or miss. I want to say you have more hits than misses. So Toonami's a safe place, a very safe place to get some pretty decent anime recommendations. Like, if you just want to pop on Toonami on a Saturday and watch something, you pick up a random episode of some show and you watch it and you like it, I've already given you the resources to actually go and watch these shows from the beginning. Like I said, Parasyte ran on Toonami. Very good show. I could have given you all any other possible recommendation, but I feel like Parasyte is a good entry-level recommendation. I feel like that's kind of sort of what Toonami is. Toonami, essentially, how it did back in the day when I was a child, it was like the entry-level anime. What Toonami still is doing today, they're still kind of sort of putting these safe, entry-level, more mature anime out there. So, Toonami is definitely, if something has ran on Toonami, if I'm recommending something, I said, it ran on Toonami, it's a pretty strong, safe pick. Like I said, if you end up liking Parasyte a lot, you have Black Bullet, you have Psycho-Pass, you have Tokyo Ghoul, which is like super popular. I didn't necessarily like the second season of Tokyo Ghoul. The first season is pretty good, but once it hits the second season, you get I feel like there's moments where, I don't know, it's like season 1 was a hit, season 2 was a miss with me. So, there's plenty of shows you can watch. So, peace.